Joe Rogan has recently become one of the most divisive figures in the media, and the outrage against him and his podcast distributor, Spotify, have reached a breaking point. Other celebrities are now boycotting Rogan by removing themselves from Spotify in protest. And at number 10, Neil Young. In recent weeks, Joe Rogan has drummed up a lot of controversy in the scientific community because he had 2 guests on his podcast that were going against the mainstream narrative when it comes to the handling of the current pandemic. Tons of petitions popped up telling Spotify to remove those episodes of Joe Rogan's podcast. At the same time, a petition including 270 doctors and scientists came out against the claims discussed on Rogan's show. Spotify continued to side with Rogan and claims that he has a right to free speech. This is when Neil Young got involved and decided to remove his music from Spotify unless they removed Joe Rogan. He wrote an open letter to Spotify saying in part, quote, "Spotify has a responsibility to mitigate the spread of misinformation on its platform. I want you to let Spotify know immediately today that I want all my music off their platform. They can have Rogan or Young, not both." As of now, Joe Rogan is still on the platform, and Young's music has been removed. And at number 9, Joni Mitchell. After Neil Young's music was removed from Spotify, his longtime friend Joni Mitchell followed suit and decided to pull her music from the platform. She did so for the same reason, and feels that Spotify needs to take action against Joe Rogan for his misinformation. In a statement posted to her website, the singer-songwriter wrote, quote, "Irresponsible people are spreading lies that are costing people their lives. I stand in solidarity with Neil Young and the global scientific and medical communities on this issue." And at number 8, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Harry and Meghan signed an exclusive deal for a podcast with Spotify back in 2020, but they have not posted any content to the site. Now that this debate regarding medical misinformation is raging once again, the couple has doubled down on their statements that Spotify needs to do something about Joe Rogan. Their production company posted a statement condemning misinformation on Spotify, and they believe misinformation is a crisis facing listeners. This is not the only time the couple has come out against Rogan. In 2021, while Prince Harry was on the Armchair Expert podcast with Dax Shepard, he said, quote, "The issue in today's world with misinformation endemic, you've got to be careful about what comes out of your mouth," telling Rogan to, quote, "Just stay out of it. If you have a platform, with a platform comes responsibility." And at number 7, Nils Lofgren. Following in the footsteps of his friends Neil Young and Joni Mitchell, Nils Lofgren, a longtime guitarist for Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band, decided to pull his music from Spotify. In a statement shared to the Neil Young archives on Saturday, Lofgren said, quote, "A few days ago, my wife and I became aware of Neil and Daryl Hannah standing with hundreds of healthcare professionals, scientists, doctors, and nurses and calling out Spotify for promoting lies and misinformation that are hurting people." He added that 27 years of his music has been removed, and he is contacting labels that own his earlier music to have them removed as well. And at number 6, Trisha Paytas. After Joe Rogan made some negative comments about Trisha on his podcast, Trisha clapped back on her channel. Ali Makovsky was a guest on his podcast, and she mentioned that she had signed up to Trisha Paytas' OnlyFans account. Makovsky was talking about all the insane stuff that Trisha posts on the platform, so Joe Rogan wanted to see what Trisha looked like. After showing him a photo of Trish in a bikini, he replied, quote, "Yeah, you can keep that." Paytas responded in a series of videos. In one she said, quote, "Not every woman is here just to be pleasure for your eyeballs. Just for future reference, for people, attention trolls like myself that aren't me, you don't have to at somebody, because chances are, even if they're the most beautiful person, maybe they already at themselves." And regardless of your views on Trisha, it was really out of line. And at number 5, Stephen A. Smith. Before becoming a legendary podcast host, Rogan was best known for his ties to the UFC, and he would often commentate UFC fights in his free time. But he got in some hot water after he decided to call out fellow commentator Stephen A. Smith. He said on his podcast that he didn't agree with Smith's assessment of a previous fight, saying, quote, "It's a bad look for ESPN, it's a bad look for him, it's a bad look for the sport. There's other people that can do this. We have plenty of people out there who understand the sport." Ouch. Smith did not take kindly to his call-out and replied in a Twitter video telling Rogan that if he wants to discuss credentials, Smith will meet with him anytime. And at number 4, Alyssa Milano. Alyssa Milano has trashed Rogan on many occasions, and it seems that she just can't understand why Rogan has so many fans. In July of 2020, she tweeted, quote, "We live in a world where Joe Rogan's podcast has triple the listeners as mine. Dear God." listeners of Rogan's immediately defended him, saying that Joe has podcasts on tons of different topics, while hers are mainly just about social issues. Many even joke that Rogan has way more than 3 times her listeners. Rogan himself eventually responded on his friend Tim Dillon's podcast, saying she's only an activist because she gets no acting roles. Quote, "I think we should leave it all to Alyssa Milano. I'm looking forward to her tweets in November. I'm just going to follow all of that. That shift where you go from actor to activist, all in. As soon as the effing calls stop coming in, you're like, alright, I'm an activist." And at number 3, John Oliver. John Oliver used his time on network TV to call out Joe Rogan for his views on the jab. On his podcast, Rogan claimed that young healthy people do not need to get it. Oliver clapped back at these claims, urging all viewers to still get it. Because even if you won't get sick, they could pass it on to someone who could get really sick. He concluded his rant on the topic by saying, quote, "Stop listening to what Joe Rogan tells you. He's an effing moron." And those are his words, not mine. And this is true, because Rogan has jokingly called himself a moron many times over the years. Rogan said in the past about himself, quote, "I'm a cage-fighting commentator who's a dirty stand-up comedian. I'm not a respected source of information, even for me." And at number 2, Chelsea Peretti. Chelsea Peretti called out the podcast host after he had Joey Diaz on his podcast, and Diaz revealed he used to pressure women into doing things for him in exchange for stage time. In 2011, Diaz joked about when he used to perform at the Comedy Store, and some of the female comedians would give sexual favors to be featured in the club's belly room. While he was saying the story, Rogan was laughing, but Chelsea Peretti did not find it funny. After the podcast, she vented about how hard it is to be a woman in comedy, and shared how frustrating it was to hear Rogan laugh along with Diaz instead of calling him out for his actions. The pair did not take well to the criticism, and they posted an even more offensive video as a clapback. And finally, number 1, DJ Ebro. DJ Ebro called out Rogan publicly for some old racist comments that he made on a podcast. In 2019, Ebro tweeted out a segment of Alex Jones's podcast with the offensive statement. In the clip, Rogan talks about going to the movies in a neighborhood that he doesn't usually go to, and he says, quote, "We get out and we're giggling. We're about to see Planet of the Apes. We walk into Planet of the Apes, we walked into Africa, dude. We walk in the door and there was no white people." Fans came to Rogan's defense and claimed the comedian addressed it before and said he was out of line. But that was not enough for Ebro, and he responded, quote, "Just because someone clarifies they aren't being a racist doesn't remove responsibility." Ebro later shared a clip of a podcast where Rogan said the N-word multiple times. So that's all for the list, guys, but before I go, I'm going to shout out some comments on a previous Tom Brady video. RJane says, "Brady's the ultimate narcissist, so naturally he's struggling to retire." Savage. There were so many savage comments about Brady. I didn't know people hated him so much, but there's one. Rebecca said, "I don't know why everyone is so in love with Tom Brady after all him and his team cheated. Everyone seems to just forget that." I honestly have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't know there was cheating. I know there was scandal with this last game because there was some sort of rule that shouldn't be in place, but I had no idea he cheated previously. I will look into that. Tatum said, "But nobody is going to talk about Ben Roethlisberger's well-deserved retirement that's already been announced." Congratulations to him on his retirement. I guess the Tom Brady rumors were just more popular for some reason. Then Brian said, "He got to the playoffs, not a bad outing. He has a great career, a beautiful family, a good sense of humor. Before you say anything, watch Ted 2. So yeah, he should retire, have some fun." I completely agree. He's had a long, successful career. You know, he's 45 now. Definitely good age to retire. Alright guys, that is all for the list today. Let me know your thoughts below and let me know anything else that I could put in a part 2. I've been your host, Mackenzie Smith, and we'll catch you in the next one.